Spencer Haywood was born into poverty so deep that his family was described as poorer than dirt. By age 13, he was picking cotton for $2 to $4 a day to keep his family alive. Yet this same man would go on to challenge the most powerful sports league in America and win a case at the Supreme Court that changed basketball forever. But his story took a dark turn that would make him one of the most misunderstood figures in NBA history. Born in Silver City, Mississippi in 1949, Haywood's father died 3 months before his birth, leaving his mother to raise 11 children alone. Their life was defined by sharecropping, a system designed to keep families trapped in poverty. Haywood was born at home with a midwife and never even received a birth certificate. His birth was simply recorded in the family Bible, a symbol of just how marginalized they were. Everything changed when his mother saw something special in her son. She gathered the family's meager savings and sent him to Detroit to live with his brother. At Pershing High School, Haywood became a basketball phenomenon. In his senior year, he averaged an almost impossible quadruple-double with 25 points, 13 rebounds, 14 assists, and 12 block shots per game while leading his team to a state championship. But college basketball had strict rules. Freshmen couldn't play varsity, so Haywood spent his first year dominating at Trinidad State Junior College, averaging 28 points and 22 rebounds per game. The summer of 1968 brought an unexpected opportunity. Several prominent black athletes, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, boycotted the Olympics in protest. This opened a door for 19-year-old Haywood to join Team USA as their youngest member. He led the team in scoring, set a field goal percentage record, and won gold. More importantly, he witnessed Tommy Smith and John Carlos raise their fists in the Black Power salute, planting seeds for his own future as someone willing to challenge the system. After transferring to the University of Detroit, Haywood led the nation in rebounding and earned All-America honors. But he faced a major problem. His mother was still picking cotton for $2 a day while he played for free. The NBA had a 4-year rule that required players to wait until they were 4 years removed from high school graduation. This rule seemed designed to keep players tied to the college system while their families struggled financially. If you're enjoying learning about these untold stories from basketball history, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments which other NBA legends you'd like to hear about. These stories of struggle and triumph deserve to be remembered. The rival ABA had a similar rule but with a crucial difference. They offered a hardship exemption for players whose families faced financial difficulties. Haywood clearly qualified and signed with the Denver Rockets in 1969. What followed was one of the greatest rookie seasons in basketball history. Won both Rookie of the Year and MVP awards, led the league in scoring with 30 points per game, dominated the boards with 19.5 rebounds per game, and set all-time ABA records that still stand today. But there was a problem with his contract. The Rockets had presented it as a $1.9 million deal, but when Haywood looked closer with his lawyer, he discovered only $400,000 was guaranteed. The rest was tied up in an annuity he couldn't touch until age 50. Feeling deceived, he reached out to Seattle Supersonics owner Sam Schulman, who offered a guaranteed $1.5 million contract and promised to pay all legal fees to challenge the NBA's eligibility rule. This set up one of the most important legal battles in sports history. Haywood and the Supersonics filed an antitrust lawsuit arguing that the NBA's 4-year rule was an illegal restraint on trade that violated the Sherman Antitrust Act. The central question was whether the league's draft policy was a legitimate business practice or an anti-competitive measure that illegally restricted a young man's ability to earn a living and support his family. The timing was perfect for Haywood's case. The NBA was already in merger talks with the ABA, and those negotiations hinged on the ABA dropping their own potential antitrust lawsuit. This made the NBA's legal position extremely vulnerable. The case became a legal drama that went all the way to the Supreme Court. A district court initially granted an injunction allowing Haywood to play for Seattle, but the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed that decision, siding with the NBA. Haywood and the Supersonics appealed to the highest court in the land. The decisive moment came when Supreme Court Justice William O. Douglas issued a brief 3-page opinion. Douglas ruled that excluding Haywood from the league would cause him irreparable injury because his basketball skills would deteriorate from lack of high-level competition. The full Supreme Court upheld Douglas's decision without comment. Shortly after, the NBA settled the case out of court, allowing Haywood to remain with Seattle permanently. More importantly, the legal victory forced the NBA to abandon the 4-year rule and create a hardship draft for players who could demonstrate financial need. This opened the door for future generations of players to enter the league early. including superstars like Moses Malone, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. Haywood had single-handedly dismantled a system that suppressed the economic freedom of young athletes. But winning the legal battle came with a heavy personal cost. Throughout his first NBA season, fans heckled, booed, and even spit on him. Many saw him as a troublemaker who had destroyed basketball as they knew it. He was treated like a pariah for daring to challenge the established order. Despite the hostility, Haywood's talent couldn't be denied. With Seattle, he earned 4 NBA All-Star selections and was named to the All-NBA First Team twice and Second Team twice. His best season came in 1972-73 when he averaged a career-high 29.2 points and 12.9 rebounds per game, setting Supersonics franchise records. The mid-1970s marked a turning point in Haywood's life. After being traded to the New York Knicks in 1975, his statistics began declining noticeably. This coincided with the beginning of a devastating struggle that would define the later part of his career. When he joined the Los Angeles Lakers in 1979, Haywood entered what he called the Hollywood fast lane, a world of celebrity culture and peer pressure that led to his first encounter with cocaine. The impact on his performance was immediate and dramatic. His scoring average dropped from a high of 29 points per game to just 9.7 points with the Lakers. He lost 25 pounds and his rebounding numbers fell from over 12 per game to fewer than 5. The physical and mental toll of addiction was destroying the body that had once dominated basketball courts. The lowest point came during the 1980 NBA Finals. After an all-night cocaine binge, Haywood fell asleep on the Lakers bench during team practice. It was a public and undeniable display of how far he had fallen. Head coach Paul Westhead immediately suspended him for the remainder of the finals. The Lakers won the championship without him, and Haywood was excluded from the victory parade and denied a championship ring. While Haywood has always taken full responsibility for his addiction, he also believes he was made a scapegoat by the league. The NBA was facing a widespread drug crisis in the late 1970s and early 1980s, but instead of addressing the systemic problem, league officials chose to make a public example of him. Haywood felt he was the perfect target for 2 reasons. First, his Supreme Court victory had made him a marked man in the eyes of league leadership. Second, his high-profile lifestyle and marriage to supermodel Iman made him a highly visible target whose public humiliation would send a strong message. Following his suspension, Haywood's NBA career essentially ended. He spent a season playing in Italy before returning to the Washington Bullets for 2 final seasons, retiring in 1983. But his most important battle was just beginning. Haywood entered rehabilitation and embarked on a decades-long journey to sobriety. He has remained clean since the early 1980s and has become a powerful advocate for others struggling with addiction. In 1992, he published his autobiography, Spencer Haywood, The Rise, the Fall, the Recovery, providing his own account of the struggles that had been sensationalized in the media. The final validation came in 2015 when Haywood was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. This honor was more than recognition of his playing achievements. It was institutional acknowledgement of his profound impact and a moment of reconciliation with the league. Haywood's legacy extends far beyond his statistics. His legal victory paved the way for countless players to enter the NBA early and earn life-changing money for their families. He estimates that if he hadn't taken his case to the Supreme Court, players would be $65 billion short of what they've earned. In retirement, Haywood has continued fighting for player welfare as chairman of the National Basketball Retired Players Association. Through the Spencer Haywood Foundation, he supports social justice initiatives and provides resources for mental health and continuing education. Today, Haywood serves as a living bridge between the protest movements of the 1960s and modern socially conscious athletes. He has praised players like Jaylen Brown, who use their platform to speak on important issues. Spencer Haywood's story is ultimately one of triumph over adversity. From the cotton fields of Mississippi to the Supreme Court, from basketball stardom to the depths of addiction, and finally to recovery and redemption, his journey represents the complex reality of the human experience. His willingness to challenge unjust systems opened doors for future generations, while his openness about his struggles has helped countless others find their path to recovery. What other complex sports figures would you like to see covered? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from the world of basketball.